Hi guys, it's April 21, 2021, and I'm actually excited to explain to you guys what's happening in the wreckage in the markets. So I was telling my friends that the market today is actually selling off. And although I may understand some of the stocks that are selling off, there are also some names that are extremely oversold to the hilt with no news whatsoever, which makes me think that the best way or the best strategy for any Awesome 10X portfolio out there is how do you identify which companies you want to buy more of or which companies you want to sell on rallies on and which companies that you would actually be so willing to short given that you can't understand why it's even trading at that level. So I'll give you three types of names. The companies that I would say are the ugly ones that you want to still short despite the fact that maybe they're falling down 10% from their peaks, but you think it's going to go 70% down. Meanwhile, there are names that fell 70% down that even if they fell 70% down, you still will not buy it. And we're going to talk about how you understand risk reward scenarios in this environment. So let's take a look at each stock per se. Let's take a look at the sectors. All right. So everybody actually doesn't understand, at least I would say not everybody, but I think a majority of the people do not understand the strategies when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So I would say that the people selling cryptocurrencies have a right reason to do so. Let's take a look at each one of them. So one of the biggest names that dropped recently is down 80%, which is Humble Pay. It's an OTC name. So far, it has been falling down almost about 87% from its peak. Granted, what you may not understand is maybe it can fall even 95%, right? It can go 90% down. But what exactly was the reason for this name to go from $8 to $3? Perhaps some people were looking for a support base here at about $3, only to see it get shaken down in just 2 days from about $3 support to as low as $1.35 or down 50% in 2 days. Will it go down to $1 or will it even go down to 60 cents? So let's understand. Take note that in 2021, Humble Pay started here from about 60 cents. So from 60 cents, it made 10x to $8. Furthermore, if you were earlier, just 2 months prior, this was still trading at about 5 cents or even at 10 cents. So let's assume that you were so good at buying it at, say, below 5 cents. So 5 cents went to 50 cents. Your 50 cents weigh more than $5. Normally, a 100x move here merits that huge drop. That's why it's not something that I'm not aware of. That's why I sold my Humble Pay on these rallies. When it rallied to about $5 to $6, I sold there. The first drop I knew was gonna get a sell on rally, given that February, March, the market was already peaking at the very least. So Humble Pay, this drop is normal. $4 selling there is normal. Now, what is not normal is this $3 all the way to $1.35. I was looking at news on Humble Pay, and I think that the reason why it got sold down was the bearish news on a potential preferred share dilution. So let's understand what is this Humble Pay dilution. Humble dilution. For those who aren't aware who Humble Pay is, it is an OTC name that went public through a reverse merger takeover from TSNP. It used to be Tesoro. And the latest developments are sharing that people are saying that Humble Pay is going to dilute people and they're going to sell shares that would cause this drop. So this is the bear case. Let's understand the bear case. The company announced the purchase of Tikeri, and the latter is claiming that it operates the largest independent Latina concert and event website. Tesoro completed a 4-to-1 reverse stock split, claiming that it forced a lot of the short positions to cover. However, I don't think that these developments are significant, and I continue to think that this one is a sell. Tesoro is a small floor, wall, and covering materials company merging with Humble Pay. Thus, they're changing their name to Humble. I've written 2 articles, bearish articles on it about this reverse takeover. And the Tikeri acquisition claims that it is largest independent Latin concert event website, more than 1 million tickets sold throughout the year. And of course, I have many doubts on this company, considering it has just 2 to 10 employees according to LinkedIn. Similarly, I'm very bearish because I'm reading, all right, this is not my call. Tikeri is part of Humble Super App strategy. The president, Brian Foote, said that in a way, an acquisition or a merger is worth the $20 million deal, cash and stock. Also, they revealed that in 2019, of course, prior to the COVID numbers, look at the carry sales, it was about $30 million. So it's part of that Humble Pay merchant solution, which is a modular super application, the ticketing service. Now, let's understand, why would people short it at $3, $4? Why do you think why do people think it's worth 50 cents? All right, says here that if you were short 100 shares at $2 a piece before the company made a 2-for-1 stock split, then you're now shorting 50 shares at $4 a piece when the operation was completed. True. Forcing shorts to cover makes no sense as the short interest was less than 5% of the average daily volume. All right. Considering that the price has changed to about 50% in the day of just the stock ticker, I think the reverse split has not improved the volatility. True. So valuation, let's understand the reasons why they're bearish. All right. It says here that Humble Pay revealed that members put in 2 to 3 to 4 million developing the product line and that the company currently has 30 to 35 employees. Nowadays, it's a $1 billion shares currently outstanding, which is $5 billion or $6 billion as of March 1. So he was talking when Humble Pay was at $6. Granted, now at current level of 1.35 price, it's $1 billion market price, 1.35 market cap. Now, it says here that it's very unclear how many preferred shares and dilution could be significant if they are converted. Take note, it is an if converted. This is a reverse takeover. This means that market valuation of Humble could be a 10-digit dollar, 10 digits, 10 decacorn, $10 billion. Humble's mobile pay hasn't launched. It just recently launched April 2021. Now, it says here that they've launched a lot of cryptocurrency alternative ETFs and an operational online marketplace for clothes and accessories. As I mentioned, Picari just sold over $30 million of tickets, and I find it difficult to grasp that Humble should be worth anything north of $100 million in its current state. When you say that $100 million current market cap, he's saying about 10 centavos for Humble Pay. Sure, the business plan sounds ambitious. There's the AMP launch, but the company will not accomplish this without securing additional funding. Also, I find it weird that all the marketing efforts of Humble Pay is focused on the USA, while the business is aimed at users from emerging markets. The company even decided to make a display in the New York Stock Exchange logo. It's kind of weird because, of course, Humble Pay wants a lot of US because US is a big market as well. They're also wanting to, of course, be a solution versus Square and versus Venmo, Square, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and all that. The Square and PayPal, basically Venmo and Cash App. So let's take a look at the bearish reasons. Like I said, the main risk for this bear thesis is that it's possible that I'm missing the next PayPal, but this is highly unlikely. All right, so basically what Gold Panda is saying is that his basic thesis, why Tesoro is a bearish thesis, is that Humble Pay is a $1.35 billion company or a $3 billion company that doesn't deserve that. So understandable that fintech is a question mark for most people, and if they're bearish on fintech in general, they should be bearish again on Coinbase. So if I'm going to be short on Humble Pay, let's be consistent here. You should be shorting Coinbase as well. If we're talking about market cap on cryptocurrencies, isn't this the biggest, most expensive company year to date when it comes to cryptocurrency valuation? Let's talk about the market caps here. Market cap of Coinbase is trading at about $100 billion. Market cap, does Coinbase, so a lot of people before used to even think that Coinbase is a Ponzi scheme in 2017. But of course, it has shown that it has revenues. Nonetheless, let's assume that you're a skeptic on cryptocurrencies, which is valid. It is a very valid point. Coinbase cryptocurrency market cap, market capitalization, the IPO. So I'm not, let's read this, the exact valuation of Coinbase. Coinbase closed at $330 per share, valuing this company at $86 billion. So you're telling me that a $2 billion, $3 billion company is expensive, whereas maybe you should also say that Coinbase is expensive. Everything is, of course, relative. I will not disagree with you, however, that I am also of the view that Coinbase is expensive. So I understand why there's froth in the market. And that's the reason why, in the first place, a lot of your cryptocurrencies were actually very expensive to begin with. Just take a look at the market cap of Binance. Binance is currently trading at $93 billion market cap. So if we're going to go in the same thesis that all of these are expensive, why don't we therefore short it while we can Binance here at about $610? If you're going to short a company anyway, why short a company at $1 billion, when you can short the biggest ones, which are $100 billion? Now, how much is the market cap of Square and PayPal? If we're going to talk about the valuation thesis on fintech, my argument here is that HumblePay is a small company. The smallness of the company renders it susceptible to a lot of question marks on their revenues, on how many users there are, and how it's just still a beginner. The reason why it went up in the first place, in my view, has nothing to do with their revenues. It has more to do with what they're announcing. And they've been announcing a company doing a lot of mobile payment solutions, similar to what Square has done, which rendered Square actually from $10 here to as high as $260 here. So take note, this is when $7 Square, now $260. So if we're going to talk about valuation, it's almost as if asking me to say that, well, you're not worth $1 billion because you're not disrupting the market caps of Coinbase, of Square, etc. Granted, HumblePay is very early in its stage. It doesn't have anything to show for. I would agree on all of that. But take a look at the market caps of the ones you're trying to beat. So the market cap of Square is now $100 billion. BNB is $100 billion. Coinbase is roughly $100 billion. If there is an expensive name out there, I would say that the most expensive ones are actually these names. Square at $100 billion, 245. It rose to that valuation, granted, because of their usage growth. And let's take a look about the usage growth of HumblePay. How do you know that? The only way to see the usage growth is how many downloads it got in the last couple of days. So I'll say that this is what's happening to HumblePay. Let's take a look at what people are sharing on HumblePay, which just announced their own launch of their mobile pay. Look, April 18. Humble announces a launch of their HumblePay mobile acquisition. How will I know how much the mobile downloads of HumblePay? Let's see whether I can find the data. Mobile downloads of HumblePay. It just launched just recently, 4 days ago. So will it be the next generation of mobile payments? News, images, mobile downloads of HumblePay. How would I find it out, guys? It was just 4 days ago. It's almost as if telling me when Venmo, all right, let's take a look when Venmo started. Venmo downloads. This one is more critical because Venmo downloads is your Venmo and Cash App, right? These are the proven mobile payment leaders accelerating the war on cash. Square Cash, the prime ecosystem strategy, it continues to push it forward. Take note, 2019, how many monthly downloads? We're talking about, this is in million, 2 million downloads for your Square and Cash App, 2 million downloads, Cash App and Venmo. So it's likely that the downloads for HumblePay will not yet be released. That's why it's easy to say that, well, it's not worth $1 billion. For all I know, it's $100 million. But I would say this, for all the HumblePay users out there, it's too early to say. It's almost as if telling me that Binance, if you weren't a believer of Binance, which I actually argued was a great thing, here about, actually not here, as early as about 2018, 2019, because it was really just cheap, $6 then. It went 100x, okay? So there are companies, by the way, that are really cheap, and it's cheap because it's $1 billion. Now, I would argue $100 billion, if you're gonna short the name, the short has to be on Binance, the short has to be on Coinbase. Now, let's understand a few people. They're saying that this SoFi wallet is a sham. There's no Robinhood, all of these cryptocurrency exchanges and all of that is just for show. All right, I could argue that that is true. There's no valuation yet, etc., etc. So let's assume that you're right. I would say that IPOE, aka SoFi, Anthony Noto is probably a CEO that's trying to disrupt fintech, and he has no users that it can go down to $10. So speaking from the same logic of the bears, then I would say that IPOE at 24, 20, 18, and even at 14 doesn't deserve that. It's gonna go say at $10 here. So that said, actually, I'll be fair. I noticed that in the recent March debacle, I was thinking, hey, 18, 19 IPOE, it's never going to go up. I agree. That's why I put that arrow short. I was also selling my IPOE, and I think that IPOE could potentially go to 11. So I'm not against the bears. It's just that I think that from a bearish standpoint, Humble Pay is likely already oversold here at about $1 level, that even if it falls tonight to 50 cents, it will trade at $500 million market cap, which is really 5% of the entire, it's not even 5%, it's 0.5% of what they've achieved. What did Humble Pay achieve? Strictly speaking, they've achieved something that a lot of the cryptocurrency exchanges today aren't doing. Are there users? Are there companies that are doing NFTs? Humble Pay is doing that. And in the past 2 days, I say that I didn't see any bad news on Humble to merit a 50% drop. Except perhaps you could argue, well, cryptocurrencies are falling, so maybe there will be less interested people on the company's launches, the apps, etc. So, so there are some people are saying that did the big money short Humble Pay? I'd argue that the answer is also a yes. It was a clear short here at about $3. And for the short term, I'd say that any rallies of Humble Pay would be shorted at $2.50 or even at $2. So in the short term, as in the next 6 months, I think short-term wise, Humble Pay will not break above 2. It will get crucified to about $1 or even at 55 cents. So what do you do if you have Humble Pay at these levels of $3, thinking that $3 was support? Wait for a drop. Let's say it goes 56 cents or 60 cents. You'll average it out then, and only when you can see a significant bottom. Why would it be bottoming out at 60 cents? Well, number one, it will be 92% from its peak, and 60 cents was where the prices were in January. That would be the prices in January. Now, let's take a look at some names here. There's a lot of things to talk about. BTC right now is trading at $64,000. Is this already too high? The answer in my view is yes. But it doesn't mean that all I know with cryptocurrencies is that when they fall, they really fall a lot. So speaking of falling, this would be susceptible for a huge correction. So I don't know. I've been telling you guys that I think that this is already too high. What is this chart? This is called a rising wedge. Okay. I'm sure that some people are wondering how low it will go. From a perspective of technicians, BTC could fall somewhere here to about 40,000. Your first line of support is 40,000. So if you have profits to take, BTCs right now at 55 to 64 is getting a pressure. And I'd say that Coinbase will get a lot of pressure tonight. So if you're going to say that I want to short the market because I think that the market is toppish, my answer for you is go ahead, do so with companies like BNB, USD. This is a short at $610. Where would you cover? I'd say that the cover price for BNB is somewhere here at about 450, a 30% drop. And then if you're lucky, around $400. Now, let's understand more cryptocurrencies, Ethereum dollar. So this Ethereum is really the blockchain powering up a lot of companies. Where will it fall? Okay, the ecosystem, this is the number 2. So far, we already saw that about 2,000 to 2.6 looks to be a distribution, guys. This one seems to be a distribution for me. A distribution after a 10x move. Notice, September, this was just $200. In fact, if we're going to talk about July, this was just $250. And even during March, this was just $100. So you had a 26x. And let's follow the same theory. All these names do not deserve that 10x. No revenues whatsoever. All right, so it should fall about 70%. Should go from 2.6 all the way to 800 or even to 350. So with that light, let's extend all of the things. All of these are extensions that should be shorted. This $56 move of marathon should go maybe 80% down or 70% down. So at certain levels, 33, if you could see a potential drop of about 30 to 60% downside from 33 to 11 or 12, then short it further. Any rallies of marathon should be shorted. Short at 40, short at 33. Short Riot as well. If we believe that the cryptocurrencies is not really a sustainable valuation, a 75% drop makes more sense. So $80 all the way to $20, here at about $40, it will still be tempting to short cryptocurrency exchanges and crypto miners. To that extent, this one will continue to fall 50, 40, all the way to $20. Let's take it further, guys. Riot, Mara, what happens to bit farms and hot miners? We argued that bit farms is actually cheap, but maybe because cryptocurrencies is potentially gonna drop, there will be no miners that will be profitable in the next coming months. And with that notion, that means that bit farms from about $9 should potentially collapse about $2. So at $3, $4, if it's gonna collapse to $2, it's a 50% downside. That would be meaning that you should continue selling bit farms before it collapses to $2. So that's a potential downside. And any rallies from 4 all the way to 5 or 6 should be sold. Now, let's take a look at hot mining then. Should you short this? All right, hot mining right now at a 50% drop is getting bought at $7. But with the same theory that the BTCs will go down eventually, 7, 8, 9 would be a sell, and a drop to $5 is not unlikely. So will it fall another 50% down in the next coming days? Possible, right? All right, so that's a potential sell. So that means that the sector of cryptocurrency miners, blockchains, and all of these cryptocurrency exchanges should be punished 80 to 90% down. And in a certain way, it means all the fintech companies should fall down very aggressively down 90%. So, or even 50%. So that means that IPOE continues to fall to maybe not just 50%, but all the way down to $11. Punish it, 28 all the way to 11. It will not be bought, basically. But the best attractive risk reward is actually your Binance, because Binance is still trading at $600. How do you short? Okay, what I did with my portfolio in eToro was, I was selling a lot of my gains. So actually, that's why you see a lot of my gains in the cash zone. And I was still holding on to my Beyond Meat, Unity, Doyu, Fastly, Nickel, that la la la. So I'm sure that it will go down maybe 20 to 30, 40%, similar to what's happened to my genomic plays like Banana Genomics and ASXC. 30 to 40%, what do I do with these losers? Or even your satellite names, global satellite like Global Star, or even your eVTOLs like eHang. Okay, what would happen is the following. I think that the potential drops would, you have to see the scenario that the market would fall. And if the market would fall, let's think about the companies that we don't like anyway. The companies that I don't like are really the retailers. So I'll talk about some of them. Tapestry, TPR. Tapestry right now is actually forming a golden opportunity for us to short this all the way. Short it at 47, 46, 43. Why? Because we don't believe that this exceptional price performance from about $10 to $50 makes sense. It's not going to go $100. Tapestry is a retail apocalypse name. The business model hasn't really recovered. And who's the client of Tapestry? Calvin Klein. I don't think that the retailers are gonna actually go up to the moon, and therefore this rally of 300 to 500% is tempting to me to actually assume that is gonna fall. Why did it even rally from September, October? You can see September. Why did it rally from 17 to 43? One answer: COVID vaccine. But I don't think that Tapestry can actually recover their sales or their revenues. When will I get my jackpot? Around May. Around May 2021, next month, your companies will actually report great numbers, or they'll say recovering numbers. Good news would, in my view, be sold. So Tapestry, all right, 43 can go to 40, people would cover it. But eventually, if it ever rallies to 55, it will be sold. So this, you have to be viewing these more as an opportunity to sell into, and any rallies to continue sell. Now let's talk about some drones companies. They got smacked down drop. Small caps today have fallen not just 70% down from its peak, it's actually falling down 80%. So when it comes to extremely oversold names, the best site to look at is actually your small companies. So Plymouth Rock actually went from $1 all the way to 30 cents last night, or 80% down. Assuming you were entering somewhere here about 45 cents, thinking that after selling at $1, that hey, 45, because I sold here at about $1.10. So I got to sell near the peak. And I'm thinking that maybe I could enter from $1 to about 40 cents, or about 60% already from my prior selling price. Nonetheless, I'd like to say that, all right, given that Plymouth Rock started here about 20, 30 cents, if the market wants to fall down further and punish Plymouth Rock to 20 cents, this is too oversold. When it's already down 70 to 80% from its peak, I think that betting that it's going to go 90% drop is a foolish game. Just like betting that Dogecoin will go to $1, or what's going to happen to this name, and so forth. So I'm not sour graping. Thank you. Congrats to everyone who has Dogecoin, and you deserve your gains. But shouldn't you actually profit take here? Shouldn't you actually profit take here as well at $600? Shouldn't you profit take these? Mara, profit take, MSTR. These are already lower highs, lower highs. Stock-related crypto names actually made lower highs from their peaks. Peaks of February all the way down to April, March is just falling down. You've got a great thing to see that Ethereum didn't peak. This is February, this is April. It still made a higher high, which means that what? This is a bearish divergence, guys. You have the optimal way right now to short cryptocurrencies while you can. You can do that. So let's say I want to short BNB today. BNB, let's go to trade markets, crypto. A lot of people will punish me that I'll show you real time to short your BNB. So sell BNB, sell $500. Let's say it's $600. So sell one share, $600. Open trade, short. Whether it goes to 700, 800, 900, that means that cryptocurrencies will go $200 billion for Binance, which I doubt it. Is Coinbase listed? Great. Coinbase, where will you short it? Okay, I couldn't short Coinbase. Says here only buy, so I can't do that. Can I short, say, Mara? Trade, let's see. Okay, I can. So where would I short Mara? If I don't believe it, then I should short somewhere at 40 or 36. So it's somewhere at that level. How about Square? Let's assume that we don't think that these expensive names deserve your love. What is this? This is a typical double top. 30% downside, I could get it at $98 or $199. Honestly speaking, I find Square very expensive, so I don't mind shorting at $245, given that it's already showing signs of weakness here about $280. So sell Square. Blasphemy, Nikki. You're selling Square. True. It's like blasphemy. But if you don't believe that it should trade at $250, then it's normal for you to short it, right? So 245 to 265, short it. I'm doing it right now just to post it. So leverage times 5, 245. Let's do it. $300. Small position so that I could short it on the way up. So you just post sell. That's as easy as it looks. It's easy for me to short when I have a reason to conviction short it, but not like all names. If it's oversold, the answer will be no. Let's take a look at some airlines. So if you believe that the good news has been baked in, you should be shorting airlines. So any good news of airlines, notice that February, March, not all companies stop out at the same price. So this was February, the market. March, airlines still rallied. April, lower high. And if you believe that May, June, July, it's going to go down, then you should be already attempting to short your American Airlines here at about 20 to 26. So you should already be posting your sell here 24 and 26. Any rallies of these names, you're already attempting to post your selling. So you could be just putting a post so that you don't forget. $24. So I don't like to sell this because it's not yet near the levels. It's $20 now. I'd like to sell 24, so that's not optimal for me. But how about Tapestry? Tapestry right now is at 43. I'm willing to sell 45, 46. So it's nearing that stock, nearing where I'd sell. So I'm willing to sell. All right, so 44, let's say. I post sell 44 until 47. Put the three or maybe for a $500 position. Sell it there. Set that order. That's it. It's as easy as that. Now, let's understand some companies. Nano Dimension. Should you short it? The answer is no. Why? Even if you think that Nano Dimension is going to potentially drop to $4.50, it could, right? Because this is a retail love. I'd say that they have a $1.5 billion cash. It's normal to short at these rallies. It's typical, 17, 15, 8, 11, right? But I'd say that, as you could see, it's already 60% oversold for your Nano Dimension. And I looked at it fundamentally. There's really no problem in Nano Dimension for it to merit a 50 to 60% drop. Granted, it didn't also perhaps merit a 10x move. Notice, did it go 10x? Yes, of course. It rallied from $1 here, $1.40 to $17. So what you're seeing here is typical of all the 10x names. All 10x names go down 50%, and usually a 50% is merited for a drop because it has exceeded and overplayed their grand vision, right? But is Nano Dimension deserving to go to $3? Let's say. Here's what you'll do. If you think that the market will not pay up for these names, any rallies at $8 for Nano Dimension, if you have it, you'll sell it. And then you'll try to attempt that Nano Dimension will never go above $10. You'll also be selling a call. What is a sell call? Okay, a sell call option is the exact inverse of a sell put. Sell calls at $10, sell calls at $9, sell calls at $8. You only do this if you have the specific Nano Dimension name. So what does it mean? Every call is 100 shares. So how much should you actually get as a premium? Perhaps a 5% yield is fine for a $10 call because that means that they're giving you a 5% premium. So 50 cents here. $9, perhaps you'll want a $1 premium. And then maybe here a $1, or even in 50 cents, let's say. So let's say you're willing to get 50 cents for each. Of course, if it's better, even better. So what it means is that you're getting paid $150 for selling all your shares of Nano Dimension at $9 average. So you're selling 8, 9, 10, whichever gets done. And then at $9 average, that means if one contract, that means that 900 plus 800 plus 1,000 or $27. Or a yield of approximately just 4%. So I'm pretty sure somebody was going to give you. Sometimes they'll even give you 10% yield when the market volatility is really erupting. So that's one way that you could actually harness the volatility in the market. Now, sell calls and sell puts is only allowed in IBKR, so it's not available in eToro. Now, what happens when that sell call transpires? Let's say it's a 2-month expiry. So let's do this, huh? 14. Oh, sorry, X. So for those who aren't aware of sell put strategy or sell call strategy, you could do a Wikipedia, or you could actually search the sell put options collecting Awesome10X winners in the Awesome10X website and YouTube channel. Now, all right, so that's what you could do. That means that for the next 2 months, assuming that Nano Dimension goes up to 10 or 9 or 8, that means that your shares will automatically be converted and sold at 8, 9, 10. While you're collecting those premiums as well. So let's say I have 100 shares of Nano Dimension or 300 shares of Nano Dimension, and I'm willing to sell my position at 8, 9, and 10, I'll do that. Meaning, I couldn't do it here in eToro. I'll tell you example. Nano dimension here, I'll show you, and then DM. So Nano dimension, I have $1,000 here. That means approximately 150 shares. So let's, for purposes of easy math, I have example 100 shares of Nano dimension. If I want to sell my $8 cost at $8 too, what I'll do is just simply sell a Nano dimension $8 call. Because that means that if Nano dimension trades above 8 in the next 2 months, at the very least, somebody's willing to pay me a premium. And I'll give my 100 shares over to them at $8. Now, why will I do that? It's only when I think that in the next 2 months or in the next 3 months, Nano dimension will not go above 8 and beyond. So while you're waiting for your shares to get collected at 8, might as well collect a premium. Hope that my ideas help you out. There's a lot of ideas, but it's already 35 minutes. Let me see what the questions are, and I'll give my answer. Should we wait for a firm to go down further? All right. So here's what I think that you should do with a firm. A firm has already fallen 60%, right? Take note. It's already gone down 50% or 60% from its peak. The peak was 145, and then it's fallen down already to 65, or almost a 60% drop. Now, let's assume that you're the worst stock buyer. You got in at $70, and it's now 65. You even got in at about $80. Let's assume that you got 80 to 65. Are you wrong about it? I think that fundamentally a firm is good. What Max Levchin is doing is really good. However, nothing can prevent this stock, like all the IPOs, to fall down south, say 75%. So let's assume that this stock continues to get punished in the next coming days to $50. What will you do? I think that the people who got in at $60 or $75 should be aware that, okay, if the market wants to punish this name to the new low, I should prepare myself to actually just be fine by, what do? You could actually do the following. If you think that a firm will not go beyond 80, sell calls a firm at $80 strike, 2 months expiry, so June 2021. Take I think $4, 5% yield. Take a 4 limit or $400 premium for your $8,000 worth of position being sold. So instead of doing a panic in the next 2 weeks or 2 months, what you want to do is simply sell calls on your firm. You only do this, it's called a covered call strategy. A covered call means that whatever you're willing to sell at that $80 strike, you already actually have a firm at 65 and 70. So you're trying to get the best selling price for your shares, with the likelihood that, hey, you can also do, this is another strategy. It's called really a sell strangle. If you want to buy a firm at $50, here's what you'll do. So sell calls at $80 strike, sell puts at $50 a firm strike, collect $5 to $10 yields. Collect $5 to $10 limits, or 10 to 20%. Let's say even at 5. Collect $5 premium. Usually I take a 10% premium, 10% yield while waiting. What happens here? What this does is it's a position wherein whichever happens for a firm, you win. If a firm went down to $50, automatically they give you a firm at 50 shares, $50, and they even paid you $5 for it. Technically, your cost is $45. Now, if this happens, $80 strike, whatever happens, if it's just within that zone, you're always collecting a premium. So this strategy, the sell call, sell put, is actually traditionally called the strangle. It's called a short strangle position. So you can do a lot of Wikipedia. I don't know if you understood me, but that's what most people will do. Miss Nikki, what's your thoughts on ARK funds? I think that ARK would fall. ARK K, ARK G would fall. So this is ARK K. You've got resistance at $130. Potentially, if the markets like Square, Roku drops, or Tesla drops, ARK fund will go down here to about $90. So at 119, it could potentially crash to about another 25%. So I think that if you're looking to buy ARK Invest, not yet. The answer will be not yet. Hi, do you consider checking on seasonality when you're looking to sell and buy stocks? Do you think that the mining, gold, real estate sectors will be the stocks to look for in May? What sectors do you think will run next month? I think that the easy sector that will go up would be I think that next month the trajectory for the stocks is to fall, not to go up. But I don't really consider a lot of seasonality. It has to do with their valuation. It has to do with their specific price in time. So it's normal to assume that a lot of genetic sequencing would fall. So assuming that you think that the markets have a leeway, that the future is still not secure, let's say that you are of the bearish type, that ARK funds and ARK Genomics or all of these names would fall. What should you do? Each time CRISPR rallies to 130 or 140, that's a sell. What happened to Chinese names? Futu is a sell. $170 last night fell to 136. This would fall all the way to 103. I think that the path of least resistance is to sell. Tapestry is a sell. Under Armour is a sell. Pinterest might actually be a well-loved name, but that is showing signs of froth and signs of selling pattern. This could actually erupt to the downside. Pinterest. No, if you have Twitter, what will you do? I sold my Twitter. Looks like after rallying to about 71, 72, this one looks to be considered a crash zone. So how about C Limited? Hope that you tell me what's happening here. Even if I like C Limited, chances are it will also correct downwards to about 190. So a lot of your well-loved names are looking to be falling. So if you think that ARK Invest is gonna fall, technically speaking, you think that Tesla's gonna fall. Tesla 890 top, lower high here at 780. Potentially a crucial drop to about 650 or 700 means that it goes down back to 550. So I think that there will be that consolidation. So BTCs falling down, Ethereum, potential short. Let's take a look at more. NEO dollars. All right. So NEO, I think the better one would be Bcash, BCHUSD. If you want to short, so the fake BTCs, right? All right. The fake BTC, let's take a look. Fake BTC went from $4,000 all the way to $40 or a 99% drop here. 99% drop. So what happened here is to understand that this rally is more of a sell-on rally, I would say. So the best way to make money in the next month, if you're a short-term timer, short these names, short cryptocurrency. 1280 is your perhaps peak for Bitcoin Cash. All of them are in Coinbase. And then this would be your potential support, $800. So at $1,000, it's a short. Actually, the thing that you could short real time is cryptocurrencies because it's 24/7. So let's say you don't want to interrupt BTC, but you're willing to short Ethereum. That's the easy ones to sell. All right, Ethereum, $300 sell. So why is it that it's very small that I'm selling? Because if it goes $2,500, you will still sell it. If Bitcoin Cash went to about $1,200, you will sell it also. So definitely, you're not trying to sell it at a price wherein, oh, I'm knowledgeable that selling this today, it's gonna crash tomorrow. Not true. What you're doing is actually averaging your selling. You're not gonna sell at one price. You're gonna sell at many prices. It's just that these names are easy to sell because they're 24/7. So look, all right, let's take a look. Private currencies, right? Private type of currencies. All right, $1,800 crashing 99% down here. Boom. Consolidated, rallied. Where did it rally? Dash rallies here to about $553. Rallied to $300. All right, it hasn't rallied to $550. So far, resistance at $400. So let's say you think that that was the peak, $400. What will you do? You could short it at $320 and then short it again at $400. and $500. I think that the people who are entering crypto are late. Therefore, I think that it's more of a chance to sell rather than to buy. So I'm sorry to pop the bubble, but if you're going to be bearish on companies, this is the easiest things to short. Hi, any thoughts on Bingo, Tosha? BNGO is Bionanogenomics. Bionanogenomics went up last night because they are thinking that Bionanogenomics is a potential acquisition. But my view is that, number one, this one already rallied, right? 10x move. Take note, 15, right? 22x, 66 cents to $15. Usually, what I'm noticing with all the 10x names is that they can crash not just 50%, but even 78%. So I'll give you the most bearish prediction. It goes to $4 at 75%. So at $5.38, if it goes down, there will be sellers and buyers at $4. Sellers will roam here about $6 to $7. So I am not of the assumption that I will get out alive from my BNGO. I have BNGO here. Let me show to you. This is my loser. So what I'll do here is I would sell my BNGO at a price of ganito. So I'm not sure if BNGO is easy to short ka. I'm not so sure eh. But it will have a resist. Wala. Buy bingo lang. So it means that nobody's able to short your BNGO. What they can do is you'll just sell this as high as you can, $6 or $7, and then move on with it. If it goes to 4, don't worry, because what normally happens is you have to do scenario planning, guys. Within the next 2 months, it's too oversold. Some people who wants to go long will actually buy it. Also, of course, now you might wonder, why did I even buy it at $8 to begin with? It's because eventually I do think the genomic sequencing for bio-nanogenomics is going to go up. So it depends on your time frame, guys. In the short term, will BNGO go to 9, 10? Probably no. In the short term, it's probably going to go $4. So you just have to understand what will happen the next 2 to 3 weeks. In the short term, the path of least resistance is for it to fall. So what will you do? If it goes to 4, don't panic. If it goes to 7, 6, you know what to do. Maxar, Lemonade, Ari, Ihang. All of the names are going to go down, guys. So you just have to understand what you have to do if it goes down. So Maxar right now has a support perhaps at $30. These are your resistances. Your satellite imaging related names are all falling, right? That's why a lot of people will criticize that ARK Invest will go down maybe 30 to 40% from its peak. So Maxar, space related names. Assuming you sold at 55 or even at $50 or $45. So I sold it actually at about, I think I sold at about $40 to $55. So there. I didn't get back in. Actually, I didn't buy it back at about 37. Although I would assume that some people would sell here and buy it back. Why? Why would I not buy it back? Perhaps because with the market selling off, Maxar is just not my favorite. It's not my favorite when it comes to satellite names. You could see that I made the mistake buying back my GSAT. But if we will follow the entire crash zone for stocks, it means that this one can go all the way to at least 50 to 60%. So Maxar can go perhaps to $15. So if I'm going to wait it out, I'll just wait here. No for Maxar. Not yet. Lemonade. Will it go down further? I think that after a drop from 180, I went long before at $50. Felt that about 150 was also expensive, so it fell all the way down. I'm not surprised why at the 190 it's falling down to $80. And the people buying at 80, I'll tell you what, in the short term, they'll sell here at 97, right? They're gonna sell any rally. If you're gonna assume that the bearishness of the market will persist, then this will go down all the way to about 70 or 60. But I think that's at 80 levels, it's double, it's 50-50. This one can go up to 95. You sell call on there. And then if it rallies further, of course, you short it more. And then if it goes down further, you know that the sell put strategy here at 60 makes more sense. Wait up. Ari, I like solar, but at the same time, you'll see that the markets are punishing all the solar names, right? So for Ari, this is an IPO at about $30. I think the IPO of Ari Tracker was an IPO last year by Howard Marks, 19 to 21. IPO was priced at 22. So what happens here is the reason why why there are people to sell is because their IPO price was 22. So given that the IPO price is 22, they could sell even at 26 and that would make them still positive. What would happen here right now is you're looking for a short-term bounce on ARI to sell into. You'll want to sell this on $30. And then if you bought at 29 or 30, you'll trim it if you can. So if your portfolio is bleeding 10 to 20%, like mine is, so my portfolio is down from 29,000. Let me show to you. My portfolio went 29,200. It's now 26,500. So what's that? About $2,000 loss. $2,000 open loss. I'm still not yet killed, but so I have this P&L and I still have this profit that it's gonna get eaten down. Pretty sure it's gonna get eaten down. Nonetheless, all right. So my capital is not yet killed, but to make money in this market, you have to understand that the market will short the easiest ones. So they'll short that. And what I'll do is, if I see that the market will reward me for shorting all of these cryptocurrencies, I'll short it further. I wouldn't do anything much to the oversold region. If it's already down 30 to 40%, it will go 40 to 55% even further. That's possible. So what I'll do mainly is to simply cushion that drop by actually shorting companies that I don't like, that are actually overvalued. So Array, $30, you'd see a selling resistance. EHang at $30, you'd see a selling resistance. Sunrun 36, SunPower medyo memorize ko, 30 to 36 will have a resistance. Sunrun at about 55 will have resistance. I got to exit Sunrun about 55 areas before it even rallied to 62. So hindi ko lang siya nabalikan eh. I wasn't able to buy it back because instead of Sunrun, I was buying SunPower. So ano rin, I would have bought maybe at $50 for Sunrun and then I'll sell it at 55. So at these levels, your only question is, what if this drops about 20%, no? Let's say at about 44, 48, it even drops to 24. I think that is a great opportunity to buy, by the way. So I was buying Sunrun before at 27, and I wouldn't think that I could get Sunrun at 27 again. That's why at 48, I'm willing to enter. Pero, so yun. I don't have a problem for all of these names from a secular standpoint, but understand that in the short term, you'll get pressured. Any rallies on the market, 10 to 20% will be sold. Snowflake is expensive, so I wouldn't bother with it. $300 was expensive. $400 was expensive. 225 is not cheap. I'd say that it falls another 20 to 30% lower. People like it, but it's not something that I like. But from a short perspective, I'll just short the ones that are easy to short. Coinbase, Mara, Riot, technically all of your cryptocurrencies, it's a short. You could disagree with me. I'm fine. So there. A lot of your shorts are also Tapestry, Capri Holdings, CPRI, Booking.com, TripAdvisor. These are the ones I'd love to short. TripAdvisor is a short here. So short 64, $60, 55. It's now 47. Do I believe that's going to go back to 27? Yes. So these are companies that had rallied all the way because of this reopening trade, but I don't believe in that reopening valuation move. I think it's going to go at least 50% down from its peak. So hope that you learned something. Of course, you could see that I have my biases, and I know that these will get punished. So I don't expect these 30% drops to get out anytime soon. Within the next 2 months, those 30% drops, I'll minimize that drop to about 10 to 15% loss. So anyway, I'm not tied on one company. It's more on the portfolio. You'll see me still up on my portfolio 2021, but that's the strategy that I'll do for my portfolio, and do what you need to do in your portfolio as well. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Wow, it's an hour.